Hey, here's how to crush and rip your forehand just like Rafa. Well, hey guys, hi, it is Brent, Abel here at webtennis.com. Hope you're having a spectacular day so far, wherever you are as you watch, listen, maybe read, because this will be transcribed into text. But anyway, look, had a great hike this morning here in Steamboat up on Mount Warner, and I don't know, something just kind of got me thinking about all the online hype out there with tennis instruction. And I'm sure that the tennis industry is not, the only one where there's a whole bunch of hypey stuff going on, where there are all these false promises out there of coaches, tennis pros, whatever you want to call them, sort of bouncing you around from one tip, quote unquote tip, to another kind of quick fix. All this stuff is unrealistic, and all that it really does is it just kind of keeps you in this loop of trying to self-teach, right? You're trying to figure it out on your own. And what ends up happening is you don't ever get better, because quick fixes just flat out don't work. They've never worked. No one's ever come up with, hey, here's how to crush and rip your forehand just like Rafa. And so that stuff just drives me crazy. And damn, my hike, I just said, you know what? When I get back, I gotta record a little something. So look, here's the reality of becoming a better tennis player. Is a couple things. Number one is you got to go find someone, a coach or a pro, who actually has been there, who has actually won something, right? It's just not kind of looking online or reading books or watching videos and kind of coming up and just sort of regurgitating what they're seeing and kind of hanging a shingle out there in the court and saying, hey, or online and saying, hey, I can show you how to win. I can show you how to hit that forehand just like Rafa. No, you got to go find someone who's been there. And who is that someone? Well, it could be someone who actually played on the tour. And even if they played minor league ball on the tour, that's a really high level. And if they're articulate at all, and if they're really interested in helping others, that's probably not a bad person to go to. Or someone maybe in your own age group, right? Someone who's actually won a national title, or maybe played on one of these World Cup teams. And so, look, I mean, if you wanna hang out with me, that's fine. If you want to do it with someone else, that's fine too. All that I really care with this message today is that you stop bouncing around from message to message and actually commit to somebody. And, my story back in the day when, before I got together with Tom Stowe in Northern California, I was the classic do-it-yourselfer. I was really trying to figure out the game on my own. And all I was doing was trying to sort of figure out, well, what are the cliches? What are the teaching cliches that I've heard? What does that mean? How do I implement it into my game? And there was no real foundation. There was no kind of step-by-step process. It was all just this hope that I could figure out from kind of tip to tip to be able to try to figure out the game. And, I got decent, but not really. And so I guess I finally got frustrated enough where I felt like, I've been working on the game a lot, I've been trying to figure it out on my own, not really going anywhere. And so that's when I kind of had this epiphany of like, you know what, maybe you've got this thing that if you ask for help, maybe it's a sign of weakness. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what I was thinking then. But for whatever reason, I just really resisted going to get help from somebody. And maybe one of those things was I just had sort of that weird kind of psychological thing. Oh, maybe it's a sign of weakness. So anyway, I started asking around, and I asked around to some really top players. And the one common name that kept coming back was Tom Stowe. And so I called up Mr. Stowe. I begged like a baby boy, would you please take me on? And he already had an established group of three guys, Doug King, Steve Stefanski, John Hubble, that met every Wednesday for 3 hours, 9 to 12. And these three guys were in the top 5 of NorCal, not in age group, but in men's open. And I just begged Mr. Stowe, and he said, "Look, we'll give it a try." And I knew all three of those guys, and so they were fine with me coming, and being a fourth in their group. But really what happened is, in the beginning, is a couple things. Number one is I knew I was in the right place. I knew I no longer had to figure out the game on my own. And I think lots of times players go, okay, well, I'm going to go maybe buy a course. I'm going to go get a lesson from someone just to kind of see if maybe they can kind of work on this one little thing. But, I'm not going to totally 100% commit to what they say. I'll see if I can't cherry pick a nugget or a tip out of that thing. And yet I didn't have that when I got with Mr. Stowe. I knew right then and there I was in the right place. I could give myself up to him. And I totally believed that because of his credibility, and his credibility started way, way long time ago, he coached the first men's calendar year Grand Slam, Don Budge. And so obviously he knew what he was doing, right? And so, look, for me, it was a struggle for about 6 months, where I'd go up every Wednesday morning and I'd be cannon fodder for these other three guys who were really great, and I wasn't. And yet I was learning something from Mr. Stowe. But I'd go back to the Berkeley Tennis Club all excited after my Wednesday morning session up there in Napa, California. And for the rest of the week, I was launching balls all over the zip code, 94705 in Berkeley, California. And every other day there'd be a member that would come up to me and go, "Brent, God, man, are you really sure this is what you want to be doing?" And, there were some times when I just go, maybe not, I don't know. But you know what? I just kept going. And every time I go up there on Wednesday mornings, I would sort of go, God, I'm just not getting this stuff, Mr. Stowe. I'm not getting this stuff, guys. And they all would say, "Look, we've been there, man. None of this stuff is like a quick fix. None of this is an automatic that someone tells you what to do, demonstrates it for you. You hit maybe 3 or 4 that feel right, and boom, you got it." No, it just doesn't work that way. So they were very supportive, and they were the only 3 guys actually that I would actually believe when they would say, "You're going to be okay. Just keep going. Just keep working." So look, for you guys, you got to stop worrying about. And I think a lot of players worry about, what, if I go and I really commit to go and work with one person, not 2 people, go work with one person. And there's a very high probability that things are going to be different. There's going to be a different language, right? There's going to be a different way of approaching the game, whether it's stroke technique or whether it's tactics and strategies. And if you buy into the fact that the person you're with is actually got credibility, that they've helped others, that they've actually been there themselves, and they know what they're talking about, even though it's different, you're probably going to suck for a while. And you got to be okay with that. Because if you're worried about going back to your club and looking like I did, which was, launching, it was just the launching pad for about 6 months. I was losing to guys I'd never lost a set to before. And, you kind of just have to suck it up and go, I believe, I trust, I know I'm in the right place. I just got to keep going, and it will eventually, on its time, not my timetable, its own time, it's going to come to me. And right, this is not a quick fix. This is not some hypey promise that, oh man, yeah, we're going to be able to make you do this or that. It just didn't work out that way. So look, I really want you to be okay with, I guess if you really, honest to God, if you really want to take your game up, if you're not satisfied with where you are at with your tennis right now, then like I said before, go find the person that's got just street cred up the wazoo, right? And if that means that you're in a locale where you can't go find that pro, you maybe you don't have that kind of a teaching pro wherever you live, fine. Then, go look online. But make sure that whoever is going to coach you online has got the credibility and is not throwing out false hypey promises to you. And then just hang in there. Just decide this is going to be long term. I'm probably going to suck in the beginning. That's okay. I'm going to have a lot of self-doubt. That would be normal. And just keep going. Just don't give up. Just keep working, right? One of my great mantras I got from Tommy Tucker once, playing the National 60 hard courts at Mission Hills Country Club, Rancho Mirage one year. I was in the semifinals quarterfinals, and playing a tough guy. We just split sets and walked off the court between the second set to go to the bathroom, and he walked by me and he just said those words, Brent, just keep working. Keep working. And, for me, that was a message that just made so much sense. That was reality. That wasn't like, oh, well, I've got to crush my forehand like Rafa to win this match. No, it was to take whatever I've got, settle down, have some clarity, and just keep working. Ended up winning the match, ended up winning the tournament. My first gold ball in singles was that year. So look, guys, I guess that's kind of the rant for the day. But just kind of frustrates me to see this online hypey garbage, and I just want to reach through the screen and just strangle this person and just say, you've got to be kidding. What are you doing to these players? You're not helping them. You're just selling stuff is all you're doing. You're not helping them. So anyway, look, love to hear from you. Just shoot me an email, brent@webtennis.com. Or if you're watching this thing at YouTube, go ahead and just leave a comment down below in the comments area. Maybe at Facebook, do the same thing. Wherever you are, podcast, would love to hear back from you. And as always, come on now. You got to get out there and help someone else have a spectacular day.